Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things.
Hey guys, 88 degrees here, and it feels all that with the humidity. Another one of my favorite things, and this one, this time on the music vein, and the DVD veins. This hits two areas, and I really like it for the DVD, so which is called Blame It All on My Roots. But the whole thing is called, well, Garth Brooks, Blame It All on My Roots. And that is 5 decades really, of influences, yeah. So what happens with this is he's got his own songs on here, but so he's on the first CD, he's got 11 songs, and it's called Country Classics. And what he's got is Merle Haggard's Tonight the Bottle Let Me Down, George Jones' White Lightning, George Strait's Unwound, Keith Whitley's Don't Close Your Eyes, Act Naturally by Buck Owens, Amos Moses by Jerry Reed, I remember that song, Jerry Lee Lewis's Great Balls of Fire, and many more, all on the Country Classics CD. Then you got Blue Eyed Soul, which is Otis Redding's Dock of the Bay, Heard It Through the Grapevine by Marvin Gaye, Stand By Me, Benny King, Gladys Knight's Midnight Train to Georgia, and so on, and there's others. Again, 11 songs. Then you've got on the classic rock, Sweet Home Alabama, Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles, which is interesting, Stevie Wonder's Superstition, Against the Wind for Bob Seger, Elton John's Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, and others on the classic rock. The Melting Pot, where you got Simon and Garfunkel's Mrs. Robinson, Cat Stevens' Wild World, Jim Croce's Operator, James Taylor's Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight, Blackwater by the Doobies, Jackson Brown's Doctor My Eyes, Rod Stewart's Maggie May, and others. And then he's got his ultimate hits on here, which is all of his songs, and it's pretty much everything that you could want from him. Then the DVD, which is over 2 hours long. It was filmed at the Wynn Casino in Las Vegas. Here's the booklet from it. And it's really great because what he does is he goes on stage, just him, and a camera crew in the background there. Him and his acoustic guitar does both his songs and songs from other people, which is pretty cool. So the disc looks like this. It's from 2009. And boy, it was a show I really wish I would have been at, for sure, because it's got all sorts of great songs in here. And let me see if I can pull up what actual songs he does on this. I think I can. Let's see here. Does it have a listing of all the songs? Perhaps not. Live at the Wynn. Well, I'll have to do it by recollection. So his songs are interspersed with songs like Ain't No Sunshine, which is classic. George Jones songs. American Pie he does. Piano Man, Midnight Train to Georgia, does all those. And he's very animated throughout the concert. So he talks about meeting James Taylor, and he does Sweet Baby James, and he sings that. Sings Lean on Me, Heard It Through the Grapevine, Against the Wind. Does he do Against the Wind? No, he does Night Moves, I believe. Yeah, Night Moves. So some of these he does. Oh, and then Trisha Yearwood comes on and does some songs, some of her hits, and a couple duets. And she does "She's in Love with a Boy," if you know that song. And what else does he do? He just does a lot of cool songs. They're not all listed here. He does. Does he do Mrs. Robinson? He does Mrs. Robinson. He does snippets of these songs, because if he did the whole song, you'd be here for hours and hours and hours. He talks a lot about his dad, who was a fan of Haggard and Jones. And he says those were the only things that mattered for him. Haggard, Jones, and he every time it Haggard, Jones. That's where music met its intersection for his father. So many good songs. He does, what does he do by, the Grand Tour by George Jones, which I think is one of the most beautiful country songs I've ever heard. He does that. On the CDs, he does White Lightning, but on the live, he does that. And there's a lot of differences between the live, what he does on the live set, and what he does on the CDs, which I enjoy, because in some cases I wish he did both, because he does the whole song. Some of them he does do the whole song, but a lot of them he just does snippets of them. He does All American Pie, as I recall. Anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful set. I don't have all the songs on it. But in 2009, Casino and Resort visionary Steve Wynn brought Brooks out of retirement, and one of the most successful runs in Las Vegas history began. A run with 3 straight years of sold-out shows at the Wynn Resort. When Mr. Wynn and I started, said Brooks, we agreed that there would come a time when we would bring this show to the people who couldn't see it in person. And that is exactly what Wynn and Brooks have done. Come take the journey through time, as Brooks shares the memories of his childhood and the soundtrack behind it. You'll watch Garth Brooks Blame It All on My Roots over and over and over again, which is absolutely true. I've watched it probably 10 times, and I wouldn't surprise me if I watch it 50 more. It's that good. In fact, I might have watched it more than 10 times. I watched it a lot, and my family's watched it a lot. Everybody seems to really enjoy it. It's entertaining. It's humorous. It moves through the history of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Well, not so much 90s. 50s, 60s, and 70s for sure. Rock. And up to his own songs and the influences that these other songs had on him, and what songs of his are reminiscent of a James Taylor or a George Jones or a Merle Haggard, and there are some of each. So great stuff. That is Blame It All on My Roots, Garth Brooks, 5 decades of influences, 5 CDs, make that 6, I think this is 2. 6 CDs and a DVD, and worth every penny if you can find it. Look for it at Walmart. I hate to say this, but look for it at Walmart and Target. Look for it at Target first. If you can't find it, I got it at Walmart because it's the only place I could find it. But I see it, and it's like $25. It's way worth it. I know people aren't buying CDs as much as they used to, but the DVD alone on here is worth $25 in my opinion, and the CDs are good to have as well. So that's one of my favorite things. Blame It All on My Roots by Garth Brooks. Look for that, and I highly recommend it. I think if you like country music or classic rock, you'll like it. Take care.